Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our 4th episode of Approaching Dawn, the Witching Hour, where we are trying to have our witches and warlocks survive the test, the training day trials of their personal demons, led by our leader who's showing us how to overcome the demons that come at us. Now, I don't know if we're going to win this, but we are in the last hour, or we're going to be heading into the last hour of this game session. Typically, the game will last 6 hours, but in this one it lasts 4 because it's a training session. And in this, I am going to go over something I was doing that was making my life much more difficult, and would have done some things a little differently. And I may end up, as a result of that, taking a card or two off. I may just play it out as is and just explain to you what it was. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to start a new round, which means the first thing we do is we're going to advance the hour. So we're going to go to hour 4. Now, what does that mean for our peoples? Well, it does mean that they are going to gain more corruption. So we are going to put, basically they're going to gain 4 corruption. So I'm going to take 1 off of each of them and put a 5 on. That puts them all at some pretty significant corruption. That is going to be 12 for Ward, 10 for Diane, 10 corruption, and 15 for Nancy. Now, I don't remember what phase we have to check that. We got to look right here in the summon demons phase. We got to get rid of that 15, some of that 15 corruption, or we're going to lose the game. Anyway, that's all we do for this point. And then we acquire spells. Now, unfortunately, acquiring spells means we're going to gain more corruption. It's really bad. So Ward, who has 12 corruption right now, you know, so the demons that get summoned are going to eat some of their corruption. And actually, that's where I was making an error in how I was laying out the demons. I'll tell you why. Actually, I was making the game much more difficult for myself. But I think what he'll do is he will take this one, because this one heals for nothing on the white magic side. So he's going to take this card, put it on the top of his deck, and that is going to cost him an additional 2 corruption. So he's currently at 14 right now. And we're going to turn over another card right here. This will gain a spell costing up to 3 corruption for free. If the locus was guarded, the witch to your left takes 4 corruption. Guarded meaning that their soul link was on it. And on the white magic side, it says bind a possessed animal facing another witch. Well, that's a pretty good one actually for 2 points, and I think for 2 corruption rather. And I think that we're going to take that because we're in the last hour. So drawing. This one allows us to draw 2 new cards next turn, and this familiar will just get played but won't get to do anything. And then Nancy is not going to take any spells at all, but she did take, Diane did take this one. That goes on top of her deck. And we're going to turn this over, unless this is exceptional. Nah, draw an extra card next hour. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So Nancy is going to forego getting any new cards. Okay. Now we're going to summon and bind demons, or summon demons rather. So the first thing we do is we unbind the demons that we have in front of us already. Now for Diane, that is going to be Saz here and the Zai Demon Lord. Now here's the thing: this Demon Lord may not have been in her attack because of what I did, and I'll show you that when we're summoning. Okay, and then the Hate Demon here is going to unbind as well in front of Nancy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw 3 lurking demons, and like I said, normally they get drawn here. Okay, so we get Smiles the Imp, Sludja, another Imp, and Sassy the Temptress, or the Imptress. Now again, we're ignoring their special abilities, so we don't have to worry about special abilities. All we have to do is worry about the top 4 symbols and their sigils. Now we're going to look at the worst one. She is a 5, 4, and a 3. We'd base it on this first. So that one is going to, so Sassy is going to attack Ward Cross. Ward currently has, as you know, 14 corruption, and she doesn't require any symbols, so she will go to Ward and attack him this turn. Okay. Now, she is then going to consume 5 corruption, and that's where I was making the mistake. I was tallying up all the corruption taken all at once, but I should take it off because it could then prevent another demon from attacking. It may not, but it could. So, for example, in this case, when Sassy attacked Ward, it consumed 5 of his corruption right then. Okay, but then we have Smiles, who's 4. Well, he still has enough to do that, and all of his sigils are open, so he's still going to have Smiles join him there because it's 4, and then the sigils are open. So that one is going to join him, and that's going to take 4 more off, leaving him with only 5. Now, if the last demon available was only 5, was 5 or more, he wouldn't come to him, but he's going to, unfortunately. This is going to be a rough round. So he is going to him, and that's going to be 3, leaving him with only 2 corruption on his board. They consumed a ton of his corruption. That's good, but he now has a lot of demons he has to fight. I don't know how we're going to do that. Okay, then next up we're going to go to Diane. Again, I probably had screwed myself earlier doing this, so we're probably going to lose in the last round, but we get the Aya, the Dark Queen. She is a Dark Fae. Now remember, we're ignoring their special abilities now, so I'm not worried about that. We get Vice Demon Queen and an Omen Crow, and we're going to put them in this order. Okay, so right now that one is going to consume 9 corruption, and it does not require any sigils. So since all of Diane's sigils are open anyway, it is going to go in front of Diane and consume. There's 10 corruption from Diane. We're going to give her 1 back. So she is down to 3 corruption just from that demon. Now see, here's the thing. She will not get another one. This one is 4. And even though all her sigils are open, she only has 3 corruption left. So this is not going to go to her. And then the Crow attacks. Now he is 2. And sigils are open. So it will go to Diane with 2 corruption, bringing her down to 1. See, that actually saved us from having one of those demons attack her. However, there's still 5 demons in front of her. It's pretty bad. Okay, and then we're going to refill this. And we're going to, for our last character, Nancy. So we get the Hex Toad and 2 Hex Toads. Okay, so we got a 4, a 3, and a 3. So we'll do the Aya Dark Queen first. She is 4. That's going to drop her down to... Now she does not have... Actually, this one will not go to her because this sigil is not open on Nancy. The bottom 2 sigils for Nancy are not open. You can see that these 2, and this one matches this one. So Aya, the Dark Queen, is going to go to the Void. However, the Hex Toads, both of the Hex Toads, the first one's going to go to her. No sigils required. Takes 3 corruptions, so I take 3 corruptions off of her, and I put 2 back. And she still has, right now, 10, 12 corruption. She gets this one, and she gets this one for another 3. That's going to consume 3 more. So she's got some corruption taken from her, but not nearly enough. She still has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 corruption on her. And that basically is going to be the summoning demons phase. Now, I look at it right now. If anybody has 15 corruption, we lose. We don't. So we get to continue on for the round. But, it ain't over yet. So now we're going to go to, you know what? Yeah, now we're going to go to the corruption, the insight phase. We're going to draw our hands. We're going to start with Nancy. Here are her 5 cards. Now, Ward has to be really careful. He cannot give Nancy a bunch of cards. That's bad. A bunch of corruption. Let's see. She's got the Imp. She doesn't have any real... Oh, here. Insight. We're going to heal one from both adjacent witches. That is really good. So we're going to do that. We'll use this white magic to be able to power that. And then she'll use these 3 to... She'll be able to get rid of this... That character doesn't do anything, though. We need 4 black magic, unfortunately. We don't have it. Well, we can bind one person with... Like it says, when you send this familiar to the ether, to bind a demon, you banish it instead. But we're going to move him in this turn because we want to move... We're going to actually move him to Ward. Ward is going to get Alec because that's going to mean that Nancy's going to fulfill her secret. But she's only going to have 3 black magic. That's unfortunate. So that's going to be her card set right there. Now let me go do the other ones and we'll get to it. Okay, so at this point we do reveal any insight, any of these cards. So we're going to reveal this one and heal 1 corruption from 2 adjacent witches, which means that Diane actually has none, and Ward only has 1 corruption left on him, but Nancy's got a bunch. And then in order of our coven leader, who is Diane, we're going to show the cards that they got. So she has 2, 4, 5, 6 corruption that is going to go to Oh, I forgot to close all their sigils after the summoning phase. Remember, all sigils close after the summoning phase. Normally be very easy to remember, but because we're going to be adding them back on. And we're going to add 6 to Ward right now. 6 corruption from what Diane just did, which is going to give her this. And she also is going to get a... oh, we also had this bind a possessed animal in front of another witch. I'm looking... We're going to bind one of these toads right here for Nancy. Okay, so we did... I forgot to do that, but we would have done that, obviously. And then she is going to open the sigils for Ward of, let's see, the top one here, the third one down, the last one, and so Ward has 2 sigils that are not open, and that is going to be, this is not the battle phase, this is the corruption phase. And so that is that for her. Now we're going to go to Ward next. He's got 1, 2, 3 black magic. Heal up to 2 from an adjacent witch. He just gets to do that. He's healing that from Nancy. Not right now though. So right now he's going to add, and we're not going to have to worry about corruption at the end of this phase. It's next phase. Oh, also, let's see. Did he doesn't have any white magic points, but I got to make sure Diane didn't either before I check. No, she didn't either. Okay, so he is going to add 3 black magic to Nancy, which is I'm going to give her another 5. So right now she is at 12. That's pretty bad, but that's all he added. And then we're not playing his cards yet, but sigils wise, she's going to open the bottom one, this one here. This one here, so the bottom 3 are open right now, and that's it, just the bottom 3. So Nancy only has 3 sigils open. That's not too bad. Now let's go to Nancy's cards herself. We already did this. She's going to generate 1 white magic. That's pathetic, but that's what it is. There's 2 white magic in the pool right now, and she's going to give Diane 3 black magic. That is nothing because Diane actually doesn't have any black or corruption on her, rather. No corruption on her at all. That is good. And I'm trying to get 3. So this is the 3 that are going to go to Diane. Okay, now we have done the corruption phase. All right, and we're gonna remove 1 from her because she did have a white magic. She shouldn't have generated that in the pool quite yet, but we would have taken 1 off her because of the white magic. Now we start the battles. Okay, starting with the Coven leader, we're going to go clockwise. Each player is going to do their battle. Okay, well. I don't know how we're going to manage all of this, but we're going to try. So once per battle, have a witch to your left take 2 corruption to bind a demon. Well, we're going to do that. We're going to bind this big bad guy again for 2 corruption. And that's going to go to Ward. So he's at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 now, which is pretty high. And then she's got 2, 4, 6 total black magic to be able to defeat things with. She could just take out the Saz, just banish him. I think that's her best bet because she really can't. He's 3, but she's only got 6, so she can't do. She could do these 2, bind him and bind him for 5, 6. Actually, she'll bind all 3 of those and take this one, I guess. Maybe we can find a way to get that one. But we're going to bind all 3 of these with her black magic. That's all she can do. And since this is the last round, all we have to do is try and survive this. We'll see if we can. And that's going to be her entire turn. She doesn't have anything else, I don't think. No. Okay. And she did use him. Now, I think in addition to that, I could banish him to the ether to bind this one. If I'm not mistaken about how they work. Now that's his special ability. It doesn't say anywhere that you can't use a special ability and send him to the ether. So we're going to do that. We're going to bind that one as well. So far all the ones in front of Diane are bound. They're not killed. They're just bound for the round. Luckily in this training scenario that may be enough. Okay. Next up we're going to go to Ward. Ward, he's only generated 3 black magic, but he does get to heal Nancy for 2. So that is I'm going to take off a 5 and put 3 back on her. That puts her at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right now. And he's got 3 black magic, and he's got he's got the familiar there. So let's take a look. He does generate 1 white magic to the pool for the Moonstone, and then he's got his 3 black magic that he's going to use. And I think what he'll do, he will bind this one, and that's 4, and Smiles. There, that's all he can do with that. But he can also attack this one. Well, actually, you know what? Yeah, he's going to bind this one and this one. Then he'll banish Ella to the ether. It says when you send a familiar to the ether to bind a demon, banish that demon instead. So he's going to do that, and he'll banish Sludgia. Okay, and that is going to be his entire turn. So we're going to have some stuff happen. I just don't know how much. We're getting pretty lucky with this, actually. I don't know if we're getting lucky or not. We're trying. Okay, now the real tough one. We already have the 1 bound Toad, but we only have 3 ether to bind, or 3 black magic to bind with. So I can get rid of this one, but see, she doesn't do anything in this, and since her ability isn't in play, I don't know if it matters. We can bind him for 3, but it'll only take cards. We're going to survive this. We can bind this one for 2, wasting 1 of our magic, but we won't take 3 more corruption, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to bind this one. It only costs us 2, and it can be either white or black magic. And then we're going to end that. Now, oh wait, you know what? No. We're not going to bind him. We are going to bind the Hate Demon for 3. And the reason why is I have 2 white magic in the pool. I will be able to bind the Hex Toad as well with the white magic at the end of the round. So that, and she's going to generate 1 more with the Touch of Gaia. So there's 3, actually 3 in there right now. We could get, that one's useless. Yeah, that's our best bet, is to then bind this Hex Toad. And then we'll have bound almost everything but 2 demons. And since we're not using their special abilities, it's kind of cheesing out, but that's the way it works. Okay, so that's really it. So the last thing we're going to do is our Coven Leader decides to use the white magic in the pool, or Nancy or whoever, to bind the remaining Hex Toad there. And that's one of the things it says at the end of the battle. It says bind banished demons with magic from the other pool. Okay, well actually we would have had to do that. We did have 2 on another turn. We had 2 during Diane's turn, so we could have still accomplished this goal then, and would have had 1 left over in the pool. Yeah, okay. So we still have 1 white magic left in the pool, though there's not really much we can do with that. We used all the special abilities, and now we're going to do damage. Well, here's where we lucked out. Because we're not using any of the special abilities, these guys, none of them did any damage. The only ones that are turned up and still active, not bound, are the Imp Cheston. And you see now, if he was active, I would have been taking, if we were using their special abilities, I would have been taking corruption while gathering spells. But he doesn't do any corruption or book damage or spell damage to us at all. The other one that's up is this Irini's Fun Bunkle. Okay, now it says during the insight phase, and discard a card whenever you gain a spell, take 1 corruption. So we would have been discarding cards and gaining corruption from that one, and that would have been bad for us, but we didn't, which means that we are actually going to survive. We took no damage. Okay, so it's the end of the hour. The Coven Leader may expend remaining white magic. We don't do that. We discard our hands, so all of our hands go away, and that's okay. And then it says advance the secrets. Well, that's the good news. Everybody completed their secrets because Nancy did move another familiar this turn, so she got 2. And if we look at our card again, the resolution is you may reveal this secret at the end of any hour that there are at least 2 on this card. If revealed this way, the familiars banish enemies they block for the remainder of the scene. So we would have actually not done that because we did banish them already, and then there's not going to be any retribution on that. So that's good. And then of course we also have no retribution from Diane and Ward ended up with the same thing, and we did succeed at it. So we reveal at the end of hour 4, which is now, and we accomplish that goal. And same thing with Ward. So again, this is the training scenario, and even still, that was not that easy. I had to really put some thought into that, and it's much harder with the fact that I'm playing it solo, and I'm really not meant to be that. But anyway, at the end of the hour, we did survive. So let's take a look at the win conditions, because I do think we won this scenario. So yes, our 3 witches survived their training, and that means that we succeeded at training day. We survived barely with a bunch of bound demons, and we did not lose. It says you lose if a witch has 50 or more corruption at the end of hour 4. That's really it. And of course, we completed all our specials and everything like that. So we successfully survived training day, and that is going to mark the end of this playthrough. This is Approaching Dawn, the Witching Hour. Really neat multiplayer co-op game. Like I said, a little challenging to play solo, and I hope you. I want to keep bringing that up because I want you to realize how this game is really meant to be played. It's a really neat game, and I love the concepts in it and the way it plays out. It's really cool. Now, again, I say that, and I'm saying that with complete sincerity, but I am biased because this game was designed by a friend of mine, and all the artwork was done by a friend of mine as well. So, I just want to remind you that if you're thinking about getting this game, please just base it on the merits of what you saw in the gameplay, and if it's something you'd like. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please check out Approaching Dawn, the Witching Hour, and I'm going to leave you with, please join me at on Twitch at The Doug Mystic Guy, where I'm doing a lot of live gameplays. I did Tomb of Annihilation last night for about an hour and a half, where I played the PC version of the board game, which is based on 4th edition and has some 5th edition D&D rules in it. So it was pretty fun. And also, don't forget Doug's digital board, which I'm also live streaming to as well, and in my main channel here. Now, I am still posting some of the board game type digital media playthroughs on my main channel, just so people don't miss it. But I will stop doing that entirely at some point. I just want to make sure people are not missing those things. Also, please, 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 I can't emphasize this enough, visit my Patreon page. Find a few bucks, $5, $10 in your world to donate to this channel. I promise you it's going to be worth it. I'm going to be putting up new rewards. There will be a lot going on, and I can tell you I'm going to make it as worthwhile as possible for you to continue to support me in that. So please check that out. Thanks. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy your weekend, and let's get on to the next game. This is Approaching Dawn, the Witching Hour by WizKids and Ken Shannon, and that's the end of the session. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.